In the chaos of everyday life, we are constantly faced with challenges, some minor, some life-altering. How we handle them defines our character. Do we react impulsively, letting emotions take control? Or do we pause, reflect, and choose a response aligned with wisdom and reason? The Stoics, ancient masters of resilience, believed that while we cannot control external events, we can always control how we respond. To react is to surrender, to let fleeting emotions dictate our actions. To respond, however, is an act of mastery. It requires awareness, discipline, and the ability to see beyond the moment. By training our minds to respond instead of react, we cultivate inner strength, clarity, and a deeper sense of peace. This journey is not about suppressing emotions, but understanding them. It is about creating space between stimulus and action, a space where reason prevails. In this discussion, we will explore timeless Stoic strategies to help you navigate life with calmness and intention. The choice is always yours. Will you react or will you respond? 1. The power of response. Overreaction life is unpredictable. At any moment, we may face setbacks, conflicts, or unexpected challenges. While we cannot control these external events, we always have control over how we interpret and respond to them. This is the essence of Stoicism, the understanding that true power lies not in changing the world around us, but in mastering ourselves. Imagine you are in a heated argument. Someone insults you unfairly, and your immediate impulse is to retaliate with anger. This is a reaction, quick, emotional, and often regrettable. But what if, instead, you pause? You take a breath, recognize the insult for what it is, just words, just noise, and choose not to let it disturb your inner peace. This is a response, measured, intentional, and rooted in wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest Stoic thinkers, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He understood that reacting impulsively only fuels chaos, while responding with reason cultivates resilience. By training ourselves to respond rather than react, we develop clarity in difficult situations. We remain calm amid turbulence, unshaken by the fleeting emotions of the moment. This shift in mindset is not just about self-control. It is about freedom, the freedom to choose peace over conflict, wisdom over impulse, and strength over surrender. The core Stoic principle: control your mind. In life, most things are beyond our control. The opinions of others, the outcome of events, even the weather. Yet, the Stoics teach us that one thing always remains within our power: our mind. How we perceive a situation, how we interpret challenges, and ultimately, how we respond. These are choices we can make, no matter the circumstances. Consider this. You are stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. Frustration builds. You could honk, curse, and let anger consume you. But will that change the situation? The Stoic approach is different. Instead of resisting what you cannot control, you accept it. The traffic exists whether you rage against it or remain calm. By detaching from the external event and focusing on what you can control, your attitude, you preserve your inner peace. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, put it simply: "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The world will always be unpredictable, but our minds can remain steady. When we stop wasting energy on what is outside our control, we gain the freedom to act rationally, to choose wisely, and to live with purpose. Mastering the mind is not about indifference. It is about strength. It is the discipline of focusing only on what truly belongs to us, our thoughts, our choices, our actions. 3. The cost of reacting versus the benefit of responding. How often have you said or done something in the heat of the moment, only to regret it later? A harsh reply, an impulsive decision, an emotional outburst. These reactions feel justified in the moment, yet they often lead to stress, regret, and unnecessary conflict. The Stoics understood this well. They taught that true strength lies not in reacting to emotions, but in responding with reason. Imagine a colleague unfairly criticizes your work. Your immediate reaction might be anger, defensiveness, or even retaliation. But what does that accomplish? A moment of satisfaction, perhaps, but at the cost of long-term damage to your reputation and relationships. Now, consider an alternative. You pause, acknowledge the criticism without taking it personally, and respond with curiosity rather than hostility. What specifically do you think could be improved? This approach diffuses tension, maintains your composure, and might even turn criticism into an opportunity for growth. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, advised, "A sword never kills anyone. It is the wielder who does." Our emotions are not the problem. Our uncontrolled reactions to them are. By choosing response over reaction, we cultivate patience, clarity, and resilience. A single moment of restraint can prevent a lifetime of regret. A measured response strengthens relationships, fosters emotional well-being, and grants us control over our own peace. In the end, reacting may feel powerful, but responding is where true power lies. 4. Practical strategies for developing a responsive mindset. A reactive mind is like a ship tossed by the waves, pulled in every direction by circumstances beyond its control. A responsive mind, however, is like a steady captain, guiding the ship with intention, no matter how fierce the storm. The difference lies in mindfulness and self-awareness. To cultivate a responsive mindset, start by observing your emotions without immediately acting on them. When frustration arises, don't suppress it, but don't let it dictate your actions either. Seneca advised, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Often, our initial emotional reactions are exaggerated. Instead of assuming the worst, take a breath, step back, and ask, "Is this truly as bad as it seems?" Another strategy is reframing your perspective. Imagine being stuck in traffic while running late for an important meeting. The reactive mind rages at the delay, worsening stress. The responsive mind, however, sees this as an opportunity to practice patience, listen to an audiobook, or simply breathe. The situation hasn't changed, but your perception has. Finally, develop the habit of pausing before responding. When faced with criticism, instead of reacting defensively, ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" By choosing response over reaction, you not only avoid unnecessary conflict, but also build stronger relationships and inner resilience. Mindfulness is not about controlling emotions, it's about understanding them. And with understanding comes the power to respond with wisdom, rather than be ruled by impulse. The power of pausing and reflection. In the heat of the moment, emotions surge, and the impulse to react feels almost irresistible. Yet, true strength lies not in immediate action, but in the ability to pause. A brief moment of reflection can be the difference between wisdom and regret, between acting with purpose or being controlled by fleeting emotions. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, often reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When confronted with an insult or a frustrating situation, the instinct is to retaliate. But what if, instead, you paused? What if, rather than snapping back, you took a breath and considered whether a reaction was even necessary? Take the example of a workplace disagreement. A colleague criticizes your work unfairly. The reactive mind jumps to defend, maybe even counterattack. But the reflective mind pauses and asks, "Is their criticism valid? Does my response serve my long-term values or just my temporary frustration?" By stepping back, you regain control, not just over the situation, but over yourself. This practice of pausing before responding is not about passivity. It is about choosing action over reaction, intention over impulse. Every pause is a moment to align with reason, to act in accordance with your principles rather than emotions. And in that space between stimulus and response, true freedom is found. 6. Reframing perspectives for emotional control. The way we perceive a situation determines our experience of it. What one person sees as a crisis, another may see as an opportunity. This shift in perspective is at the heart of Stoic philosophy, understanding that while we cannot control events, we can control how we interpret them. When we reframe challenges as opportunities for growth, we free ourselves from unnecessary emotional turmoil. Consider a flight delay. The reactive mind sees it as an inconvenience, leading to frustration and anger. The Stoic mind, however, reframes the situation. This is time gifted to me, time to read, reflect, or simply practice patience. By shifting the narrative, the emotional burden disappears. The delay remains, but its power over your peace is gone. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Many of our anxieties come not from the events themselves, but from how we perceive them. A difficult boss, a financial setback, or a failed plan, these can be seen as obstacles or as lessons. The choice is ours. By training the mind to view adversity through a constructive lens, we gain composure, resilience, and wisdom. We stop reacting as victims of circumstance and start responding as architects of our own growth. 7. Mindfulness as a Stoic practice. To the Stoics, true strength lies in mastering the mind. One of the most powerful ways to achieve this is through mindfulness, training ourselves to be fully present rather than lost in distractions or emotional impulses. By practicing mindfulness, we cultivate awareness, allowing us to respond with reason instead of reacting instinctively. Simple techniques like breath meditation, body scanning, and mindful observation can sharpen this awareness. Imagine you're in a heated conversation and frustration begins to rise. Instead of snapping back, you take a slow, deliberate breath, anchoring yourself in the present moment. This small pause shifts your focus from emotion to intention, giving you control over your response. Mindful observation extends beyond solitary practice. It transforms relationships. When speaking with someone, give them your full attention. Observe not only their words, but their tone, expressions, and emotions. When we are truly present, we listen with understanding rather than preparing to reply. This deepens connections and reduces misunderstandings. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, once wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Mindfulness helps us live by this principle. We gain clarity, patience, and composure, not by controlling others, but by mastering our own minds. In doing so, we strengthen both our inner peace and our relationships with the world around us. 8. Daily practices to strengthen. Stoic responses. A Stoic mind is not built overnight. It is forged through daily practice. Just as a strong body requires consistent training, mental resilience comes from repeated exercises in self-awareness and discipline. By incorporating simple but intentional habits into each day, we can refine our ability to respond with wisdom rather than react impulsively. One of the most effective Stoic practices is morning reflection. Before the day begins, take a moment to set your intentions. Ask yourself, what challenges might I face today? How do I wish to respond? This prepares the mind for adversity, ensuring that emotions do not dictate actions. Journaling is another powerful tool. The Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius, used writing as a way to analyze their thoughts and behaviors. At the end of each day, review your responses to different situations. Were they aligned with reason and virtue? If not, what could you do differently next time? This habit builds awareness and continuous self-improvement. Lastly, throughout the day, practice pausing before responding Whether it's an unexpected criticism or a stressful situation, take a breath before reacting. This small pause creates space for rational thought, preventing regretful words or actions. By committing to these daily exercises, we strengthen our mental discipline, gain clarity in decision-making, and cultivate a life guided by purpose rather than fleeting emotions. Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it is a way of being, refined with each passing day. 9. Embodying Stoic virtues for a meaningful life. Living a life of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, the core Stoic virtues, requires conscious effort. The path to mastering response over reaction is not a single choice, but a continuous journey, shaped by daily self-reflection and intentional growth. Each moment presents an opportunity to refine our character, and in doing so, we cultivate a life of meaning and impact. Consider a situation where someone insults you in anger. The instinctive reaction might be to retaliate, letting emotions take control. But a Stoic response requires pausing, recognizing that their words reflect their state of mind, not your worth. By choosing not to react impulsively, you maintain your inner peace and demonstrate strength. In turn, your response may even diffuse the conflict, influencing the other person toward a more composed state. Beyond personal well-being, embodying Stoic virtues has a ripple effect on those around us. A leader who remains calm under pressure sets an example for their team. A parent who responds to a child's mistake with patience rather than frustration nurtures emotional growth. Every thoughtful response reinforces a culture of wisdom and stability. By committing to this practice daily, through reflection, mindfulness, and disciplined action, we refine ourselves into individuals of greater depth and purpose. A meaningful life is not defined by external circumstances, but by the virtue with which we navigate them. Train your mind to respond, not react. The path to mastering your mind is not about suppressing emotions, but about directing them with wisdom. Every day presents choices. Will you react impulsively, or will you pause, reflect, and respond with intention? True strength lies not in control over others, but in mastery over yourself. By training your mind to respond rather than react, you cultivate inner peace, resilience, and a life aligned with your deepest values. Remember, Stoicism is a practice, not just a philosophy. Take a moment each day to reflect, to observe your thoughts, and to choose your response wisely. Over time, this discipline will shape not only your actions, but your character. If you found value in these ideas, subscribe to Wisdom Vault 365 for more insights on Stoicism and timeless wisdom. Join us in the pursuit of a life guided by reason, virtue, and clarity. Until next time, stay mindful, stay strong, and choose to respond.